What is up, everybody? So this video is going to be a bit different. It's going to be my ultimate Rek'sai guide video, and I'm going to cover everything I think you guys need to know to play Rek'sai and to play her like the best. So this video is going to be very detailed. I recommend you guys watch it from the beginning to the end. I'm going to cover everything I've been writing down that I think is very important for new players and experienced players to play Rek'sai and to play her very well. So for starters, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Inori. I've been playing Rek'sai since her inception. I've been a big fan of her. I've also played LCS, and I played Rek'Sai a lot in LCS. She is my highest win rate champion in the LCS, so I have a lot of success playing her, a lot of experience, and currently I am 1200-ish LP, playing mostly Rek'Sai. And quickly, I'm going to show you guys my op.gg so we can go over runes, and I'm going to explain exactly why I take these runes and items. Okay, so very start, let's go over why Conquer is the best rune on Rek'Sai. Conquer. I recommend everyone just stop taking Halo Blades. We're going to explain more about that later in the video when we cover combos, but Conquer is the best rune. It gives you a lot of AD, and the AD you stack by the end of your combo is very important for killing people and just being able to play the game well. So for runes, we go Triumph, Conquer, Triumph, Alacrity, Coupe de Grace, and second page we go Inspiration with Free Boots and Cosmic. Free Boots really good, saves you money on long swords so you can buy more swords, which in turn makes you deal more damage. Cosmic Insight, I really love smite cooldowns being reduced. People underestimate this rune a lot. Having faster smite, having quicker blue smites is fundamentally super important on Rek'Sai, so don't undervalue this rune. It's very strong. And also some people take Domination second. I think it's okay, but I recommend Inspiration because I think it's better to have lower cooldown on your smite and having a shorter cooldown on your Prowess Call together in one. For attack speed, we're always going to do attack speed, AD, and HP. You can go armor if you're struggling with early clear, but either way, you're either going to do HP or armor, and that's going to be your runes. And I highly recommend you always do this page. It's very important you don't get baited by Halo Blades. And for skill order, we're always going to do Qmax into Emax second. People say, I used to be a big fan of Qmax, but patches ago, or Emax patches ago, they nerfed E pretty badly, so I don't think any extra points in E is that important to have. I think just Qmaxing 5 points is better now in the current patch with the new Rek'Sai. I don't think 3 points Q is even that good anymore. I think just 5 points right away will give you a lot more damage, and will give you great Q snipe potential with the extra damage it has on it. For builds, always go blue smite. That's fundamentally important. Dirk Buy is very important. We go into Prowler's Claw, we go into Edge of Night, Grudge, either Death Stance or Maw, depending if we're against physical or magical damage. And then we also get GA if we feel like it's a good GA game as well. And that's usually your full build if you're going for the more Assassin Rek'Sai. Some people always want to say, like, what is Bruiser Rek'Sai? Can I play Bruiser Rek'Sai? Not really. What Bruiser Rek'Sai ends up being is you're just going to go Claw still no matter what. You always 100% of the time we go Prowler's Claw. Second item is going to be Cleaver, and then you go into more of a beefier build, which is Death Stance and Maw. So that's like the pseudo Bruiser build. If you want to do that one, I don't personally like it. I think there's more carry potential in the Assassin Rek'Sai that I've been playing recently. But if you want to go Bruiser, that is how we're going to build Bruiser. It's good in some situations, so if that's how you want to play her, just play her. But always remember Qmax into Emax, and always go Conquer, which is the best runes. Okay. Now. Wait, let me hit this AFK warning. So let's go straight into early game. Early game clears. What are we going to do level 1? What I like to do level 1 is I like to ward my entrance to my red every time. And after that, I usually base and I get my sweeper. The reason why I do this is because I think people generally, what happens is they try to invade Rek'Sai on her red side. So I like this one defensive ward. And I like switching to sweeper because having sweeper for my level 3 gank is just very, very mucho nice. And we always start red with a leash. I don't want to go over how to clear too much, so I'm just going to talk about what this clear is and the reason why we're clearing like this. So this clear is Red Krugs Raptors. It gives you level 3 and it gives you the best options possible. So 80%, around 80 to 90% of your games, I recommend just doing Red Krugs Raptors. Here, when you're doing the Krugs, just Q here. You hit them both. You pull them. You knock up the baby. Try to always use your auto Q as a reset. So when you auto attack something, you Q right after for the auto attack reset. That is the basic mechanic that it's going to be very important for you to learn. And I'm going to talk more about it later in the video as we go over the combos. Auto Q is very important, and casting W to knock up is going to be a very important thing that we're going to talk more about later in the video. Generally after that, you go to Raptor. What I like to do is I pull the Raptor camp and I hit 3 of them like that. And then I get close in and then I knock up to spread the talisman. And then I just auto them down. I auto the ones that didn't get queued, and then I just kind of cycle between knock up, W, attack, attack. You save up your build form, and here, this is where it gets good, right? You're going to have the option of either ganking mid fast, which is fine depending on the situation. Sometimes what happens is, you know, the enemy mid ends up pushing here. 1 second, I need to sweep, get a little vision here. So what happens is generally the enemy mid will sometimes push here. So I like to snipe gank here. This is a really good one. If they're like pushed up here, you can always get on top of them without having to flash. And that one just leads into a very good combo. Otherwise, if they're not getting pushed, sometimes they end up being in, you know, around this middle position, maybe a bit further. But even this middle position is very killable. What happens is we use the side tunnel here. And we always use the walls. Remember, wall is very important to deny them vision as long as possible. Here we're just going to do the Q flash knock-up combo. And that's how we're going to gank mid from those two sides. You're either going to gank them here because they're pushed up, or you're going to gank them here because they're close to the wall. And if they're ever in this flash range, that is potentially a kill. But what currently in this meta, what I like to do though, is because I saw red, for example, on blue side, your ball lane is going to go to lane here. And they're going to most likely get pushed in. And what's going to happen is enemy bot's going to try to push in a wave, but they can't 3-push a wave in without it being stuck here. So what's going to happen? They're going to be in a really awkward situation because they might have started in lane early and they're going to be pushed here. So what we do is we walk here, do our little Rek'sai walk over. Sometimes we can track to see if the enemy jungler is on blue or Gromp. Very good to always scan and check. And then we go for the mid gank. So how do we, and we go for the bot gank. So we always want to end up behind them. We want to be, you know, around this area. And how do we do that? We want to tunnel. So here the trick is to tunnel right around this edge point. So if you tunnel here, you're not going to take tower shot. And you're going to be put in a very nice position where you can knock up whoever you want. And why I say tunnel heal is because if you try to tunnel too deep, hold on a second. That's generally how you're going to combo too when you gank them. So if you tunnel too deeply, you might interrupt your tunnel, and sometimes you get stuck behind the wall. So don't do that all the time. Do the spot right here, which is just as you see the force curve into the rock. That's the perfect side in the middle right there. That is the perfect spot. Sometimes you can also gank like this if they're really pushed up, so you don't want to just risk being seen too early. But generally, this gank will lead to like a 90% success rate. And I personally think in this meta, ganking bot will win you the game like 90% of the game, 90% of the time. So it's really important to just be prepared to gank bot and be prepared to, you know, maybe give up some top side. So let's say the early game you went for this early gank bot. What happens is the enemy jungler might try to punish you by taking your top side. It's okay. So what's going to happen is Crab's going to spawn. What we're going to do is you're going to grab spawn. You're going to wait for Crab, grab bot Crab. And what you're going to do is you're going to cross mid. Usually if the wave is not too, like, if it's more even, what we're going to do is we're going to always push the wave in with our mid. If he's a big tilter, you don't necessarily have to push in. You can just skip and go by yourself. And we're going to play for top Crab. You're always paying. What's going to happen if you go for that gank, they might take your blue buff. And then they're going to go straight for the top Crab afterwards. Usually they won't be able to take both camps. And if they do this, what you're going to do is go for the top Crab here and fight them. And if they stay in this area, you're going to fight them afterwards, which is going to be a really big win for you. And that's generally the early path if you're going to take the Red Crux Raptor clear. There is another option where you can start blue side. And what I like to do if I start blue side here, because I don't feel like going for like a very cheesy bot gank, I just do my blue and then I do my Gromp as well. But I don't actually do my wolf camp. Here, you skip wolves because you know, when you're playing Rek'sai, it's really important your clears are meant to be aggressive first before you end up going for farm. So here I'm skipping wolves. I'm going to do my red. And what that's going to do is going to put me in a very fast level 3 position. And then when we get the level 3 position, we do the same thing as before. We either walk this way, go for the bot gank here. We talk about the 2 tunnels. Or if they're really pushed up, you can easily just walk through try as well. But here is always 100%. They're not going to have it warded. So This will give you guaranteed perfect tunnel positions, which is very important for early game. So those are generally the paths I recommend. You can do the opposite side too. This path, we do red, we do the Krugs, we do the Raptors, and we look mid again. Talk about the mid ganks. What do we say? If they're pushed up, we can easily gank from here. This wall doesn't show vision for the enemy guy. So if there's a minion like right here, let's say there's a minion here, but I'm over here, it's actually not going to show me. So it's very important to hug Fog of War. And the enemy silencer, whoever it is, might be too stupid to look for that position. And then boom, you always can end up on top of them. And here, this one's a bit trickier. This one, you got to be a little edged towards the boss side here. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to end up here, but we don't want to end up too close. So here this one is not good, right? So here we're just going to end up doing it a bit more in the middle. And this will put you right behind them. And it will give you a perfect angle for a bot gang. The trick for this one is generally you don't want to be too close here because you're going to reveal. So you just want to kind of edge a bit closer and just aim for the edge of the fireplace. And that will put you in a very nice position to gank the mid from the left side. Those are the general tunnel spots that I like to do. I think mid ganks are very good. So you can also gank behind Raptor Camp, which is a very good gank timer too. Vice versa, you can gank behind Raptor Camp on this side as well. I do the enemy Raptor, get my Raptor clear. And then I look quickly for that, the enemy mid who's just overextending. We get the block kill. Usually when you're ganking mid though, you're going to have to end up using flash. So I always do the flash knockup first. And we're going to talk more about the combos right after in a couple seconds. But let's just talk about those as the tunnel spots. And then here, vice versa, top lane tunnel. If you're on red side Rek'sai, you can easily tunnel from this thick wall. Ball lane has this wall, which is good for blue side Rek'sai. But if you're on red side Rek'sai, you're going to end up having the perfect wall angle for camping the top lane. But I don't like camping top lane, but it's okay in some situations. And I'll just show you kind of like the wall angles. You kind of want to angle it a bit further. And it will just generally where the rock line is ending here is how you kind of want to, angle it in. So you don't end up going too far on the opposite side. So here, just as you kind of see, this one's a bit too close. But if you do this one, you can get generally a good angle on the wall. But those are the wall tunnels. I want you guys to really memorize all the positionings you want to tunnel. And I'm going to show you guys finally the macro tunnels. Macro tunnels are the ones you're going to be setting up in base to speed up your clear. And usually I start these ones after my first base or my second base. First base, sometimes I want to save my tunnel cooldown, but it depends on you. And what we're going to do is we're going to sit here on the Nexus and do the first one here. Then after like another base, you're going to come back and you're going to set up another one here. And then finally on your third base timer, you're going to set up the third one here. We leave 3 tunnels for macro tunnels, never more than 3, because if you set up more, you're going to run out of tunnels on the map, which is not good. But 3 is easy. It's a very easy amount to keep to kind of keep your macro tunnels in check. So this is going to be great for going down mid. And mid lane just gives you the most options, because once I go through mid, I have all the options in the world. If I want to go to my Gromp, I can go up. If I want to go to my bot side, I can go to my Raptor Camp, It's very simple. It's a great way to keep your tunnel set up, and this is how we're going to play with our macro tunnels. Hold on, my throat's killing me. Hold on. Early game. So we pretty much covered tunnels, and we covered runes, and we covered items. So I'm going to cover how do I play Rek'sai early game. So this is the very start of the game. What's going to happen, you're going to get your level 3 gank off. And you're going to end up farming. After one good gank, usually what I do is I try to play for bases. So I play for my first item base. The first item base is really, really important is 1100. So if I get 1100 or I'm close to get 1100, usually I finish clearing the rest of my camps. But sometimes I skip wolves if I already have 1100. And then you base. And once you base, you're going to be on the map again. And what you do is you go back to where you started. So if I started with Krugs, for example, what does that mean? It means my Krugs are going to spawn again as my first path. So what we're going to do is we're just going to repeat what we did. We started Krugs last time, so we're just going to go back and do Krugs again. And then we're going to do, our Raptor Camp again, right? And after that, we're just going to kind of re-go through our entire early game as we played it initially. That's how you keep yourself in a good jungle path, is you just go back to where you started after your first base, and you just play the map the same way. Personally, I think Rek'Sai is kind of weak at this point. After you use Flash, you don't have ulti, you don't have blue smite. This is kind of like the the slow phase, you're playing to kind of farm up for reds, to farm up for your blue smite timing, and to farm up for your Prowler's Claw and your level 6. But there are opportunities to gank. Same thing. If I already got flashes down bot side, what do we want to do? We want to gank bot again. Go for the same thing. Tunnel spots obviously still set up really nicely. And we go for the bot gank. Or we, same thing. We go for that mid gank. And we just repeat what we've done and what's been successful. If bot lane is not even in lane anymore, we feel like, oh, there's nothing to do. We just go back to our top side. Clear our top side out. Don't worry so much. By this point, you're probably going to be level 5. So it's like still okay. It's not a big deal. We're just going to play for, early ganks, early aggression, all that kind of stuff. And then generally your second buy, what's going to happen is if you get another good gank off, you might have around 1100. So we buy the Warhammer. And we go back, same thing. At this point, your buffs are going to spawn. By level 5, your second buffs are going to spawn. So on blue side, if I'm blue side Rek'sai, this entire jungle side is going to spawn again. And once I clear all of this, I'm going to be 6. And that's when I either look for these. This is the point when you start playing for objectives. I don't like playing pre-6 for objectives, but at 6, I do like objective control. So I will get 6 and either go for that bot gank, invade, something really aggressive. If I have red buff and I'm level 6, I really do want to play aggressive. It's about playing aggressive with good item spikes. And same thing, if you get a double kill bot, it's a great dragon timer. But if you feel like bot ganks aren't that great, what I like to do at this point is, I know I played for that Herald. I played for that early Herald because in my opinion, the first Herald is worth more than the first dragon. So if I'm Rek'sai, even though my top's not that strong, if I'm really strong and I feel like I could just win a Herald fight, I look for either a mid gank and then a Herald play, or I look for a quick top gank and then a Herald play. I only like helping top when I feel like I can get something more from it, like a bunch of tower plates or for the early Herald control. And I think the first Herald is always going to be very important for us to take. Really quickly, I'm going to show you guys how to just kite it. So here, when you always hit the eye, what you're going to do is you're going to wait for the auto attack before. So here, I'm going to wait for the auto attack. It autos me. Then we turn to the side and we hit the eye. Okay, that was kind of show. You just wait for the auto attack, syncing them in together. That's very important, fundamental. Here, the auto is going to come. And we auto the eye. And here's a little trick. You guys don't know, but if you freeze that HP at 1400, around 1500, you can get another eye proc. But if you drop it below 14 to 1500, you will not get the eye proc, which is very bad. So I always freeze it around 1500 and just wait a bit. You will 100% get an extra eye proc. But if it's below, there's a chance you might not get it. And then at this point, we're going to have a really good base time and we're going to go for the Prowler's Claw. And at this point, this is when we play really aggressive for dives. Rek'sai is a dive champion. People don't understand. When you get 6, when you have your ulti, Rek'sai is just extremely strong at diving. So look at this Tristana. Okay, that wasn't a good example. I killed her too quickly. But the point is, I'll show you guys as I respawn. The point is your ulti goes untargetable. So when you do it, what you pretty much are trying to look for is, you're trying to, for example, let's say like we're going to dive this guy. What are we going to do? We're going to start our combo, auto Q, E. As this last tower shot goes on, you can just flash and kind of dodge the last tower shot. Because when you go untargetable, what happens is it will reset the tower shot to go for your whoever your ally is tanking, and he will take the damage, and that will give you the time to kind of reset the tower, survive, kill, execute whoever you're doing. So it's just very important to go for these kind of plays, because I personally think tower diving is really important as Rek'sai, especially when you have your ulti and you can easily reset aggro with your ulti. That's generally the whole early game. At this point, you've done what I've said you've done. You're going to be doing a great job. You're going to have a great gold experience lead. You're going to be destroying kids, pressuring, using the wall tunnels I've talked about. And also remember diving. Not diving without waves. You can easily dive with minion waves. But just diving and being aggressive and using your ulti just before they die to reset tower aggro so you're not tanking tower. Because sometimes you get stuck under tower when you kill them too quickly. You don't get the ulti off. So it's important to ulti to reset the tower aggro so you don't actually continue tanking after you kill your target. Whew, okay, guys. Very, very good. Now you've made it to the combos. The combos are fundamentally very important as Rek'sai. And what we're going to talk about combos is there's a few basic things that I need you guys to know about combos. So firstly, Rek'sai, her passive is the Fury bar. What does this Fury mean? It means you need to get to 100 to deal 100% true damage on your E. So the entire point of the combo is to get 100 Fury and to cast E at 100 Fury. And what generates Fury? All your abilities. Auto Q generates 50 Fury. Hitting Q generates 25. And then knocking up will generate the last combo you do. So the entire point of the combo is going to be, you need to hit the Q or else you're going to stuck with that very slow combo. So very slow, I'm going to show you guys. So what we're going to do is like, we're going to hit, when we go for a gank, let's say we tunnel over the wall. I'm going to Q first. Knock up, auto Q, E. And that's maximum damage. And what's important to do is always auto Q. That's the thing I notice players, they don't really do, is they don't go for that auto Q, and that's going to leave you without having the one-shot potential. Because the entire point of the combo is to kind of kill them and knock them, to kill them in the knock-up duration. So here, with the Prowler's Claw, it's a bit different. With the Prowler's Claw, and you're going to have to cast W manually to really get the benefit. And you just go for the auto Q E combo, just like that again. And very, 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 very important is to kind of cast your W manually. So when people mess up on Rek'sai, what they do is they rely on like right-clicking too much. When you play Rek'sai, you want to manually cast your W. Because why is it very important to manually cast your W? Is because W range is farther when you cast it manually. So here you saw me knock that person up. But if I was to right-click to try to knock them up, it actually is a shorter range. And it puts me closer into the champion's range bar. So it's not guaranteed. You get much more range on your W when you manually cast it. So it's just a good habit to build. And when you're trying to do combos really fast, it's just better to naturally just cast W with your fingers. So here, if I'm going to show you guys, this is what the Q flash combo is. This is generally the combo you're going to be doing early game, and it's going to be Q flash knockup, Q flash, because it buffers the animation. If you flash Q, it's not good. You Q flash, it's instant cast, so it's really fast and quickly. So what you're going to do is Q flash, knockup, auto Q E, and sometimes you can get one more auto off before you cast ulti, but that's the entire combo. So very slowly, again, we're going to do Q, Prowler's Claw, W, auto, Q, E, R. I'm going to show you guys a lot because I really think it's so important for you guys to understand it. Q, W, auto, reset, Q, E, R. Okay, guys, that is the combos. And then remember, early game when I was talking about Q flashing is going to be your early game combo. Q flash, auto Q, E. And that's like the one-shot combo for the early game. Those are the general combos I want you guys to really remember. And one more thing I'm going to show you guys. It's a very special thing. It's not so much as a combo as it is a way to get out. So if you're in a situation where someone's like tagging you and stopping you from going over a wall, what you can do is cast E and knock them up as you're Eing. So what you do is you're going to cast E over the wall, whichever direction, and you're going to click on them really fast. And what that does, it puts you over the wall while also knocking up the person behind you. This combo is very easy to do. Just remember, once you pick the direction to cast to E over, you have to quickly right-click the enemy you're going to knock up. So here, quickly right-click the guy, and you will knock him up every time. It's a really neat trick. You can do it in a lot of different ways. Here, you can even hit the plant if you're trying to hit it behind you while you're walking through. Those are the general combos we want you guys to remember. The last one is E flashing is very OP because sometimes you're going to be stuck in the E animation for too long and someone might kill you. So what you do is you're just going to go finish them off with the E flash. And generally this combo is really good when you're just trying to be really fast to escape afterwards. Where, for example, I use my combo and I just E flash to kind of insta cast it to really get away from the target. And that's all the Rek'sai combos, Rek'sai abilities that I really need you guys to understand. One little trick I'll tell you guys though is there are some situations when right-clicking knockup is better. Let's say, for example, if there's 4 people clumped up. If you knock up W cast, it's not reliable on who you're going to knock up. But if there's 5 people stacked and you want to knock up, let's say, the Ahri, all you have to do is right-click the Ahri and it will knock up specifically the Ahri. So this is really good for ganking in minion waves when there's a bunch of waves. And the champions are just kind of stacked up. You just right click whoever you want to knock up, and that's when right clicking knock up is better. But otherwise, I need you guys to W cast to knock up to get the extra range on it, and to get into the habit of knowing how to combo well on Rek'Sai as well. All right, guys. So that was most the early combos and stuff like that. Let's go into the mid game. Mid game is where it gets a bit trickier. So what would I define as mid game? Usually, I would define mid game as more the 2-item spikes. So at this point of the game, you've taken all the towers. You've taken a lot of plates. Towers are broken. You're playing for dragons at this point. So what I want you guys to do is always remember dragon. If there's a minute before dragon, I want you guys to play for dragon. Dragons are worth a lot of value. I love air dragon. I think the best dragon in the game. So how are you going to play mid game? You're just going to always look to be aggressive. So what I do is I clear one side of the jungle. Let's say late game, I'm going to clear my... I'll probably be around like level 11 at this point. I'll probably clear my whichever side. I don't usually full clear. I will look for whichever side I can, and I would clear it. And then at this point, I'm always looking at, you know, who am I gonna pressure? Who am I gonna gank? There's two ways either to snowball the mid game is to either play for, you know, going through your bot laner or whichever lane you want, or to just invade the jungle. If you feel strong, it's really good to invade the jungle. If you have lane push, it's really good to invade the jungle. If you don't have any of that, you're just trying to play to break outer tower. So a little trick I like to do is I like to just look at the mini map and I look at the outer towers. I think I tell myself which towers are left up. So if mid tower is dead, this wave is going to start going in here. If bot tower is dead, this wave is going to go deep in here. If top tower is still alive, this is an easy tower for us to take. But if the bot tower is in here, what we can do is we can easily invade and pressure this area, which is very strong, and it will give us a very good chance to kind of look for picks and stuff like that. That's generally how you want to play the mid game. It's just very important to look for picks and just to kind of play around that kind of objective control. Team fighting. Generally, what you're going to do is, you know, let's say there's a River Dragon fight. The way you want to play team fights is you want to play team fights as Rek'Sai is a flanker. You want to play from vision, lack of vision. So if the enemy team is stacking 5-man, you know, around here, and I'm a Rek'Sai, right? What I like to do is, you know, I like to tunnel around, just kind of like look for, you know, flank positions. And then eventually we might come from like an angle like this. We won't have this trinket, but we'll have a perfect flank timer. So there's two ways to engage in the fight. Either you prowlers right away and knock up auto QE. And what you're going to do in team fights is you're going to use your ulti to dodge CC abilities. So this is very important. What people don't realize is when you ulti as Rek'Sai, you become unstoppable. So it's very easy to just dodge all CC abilities. That's generally what you're playing for. You're going to use your combo. And when you know like the Alistar is about to combo you, or you know like the Azir is about to ulti you, we always use your ulti to kind of cancel out that CC. It gives you CC immunity, makes you unstoppable, so it's very OP. And for team fights, it's just generally about getting on the AD carry. So you always look for angles to get on the carry. It doesn't necessarily have to always be from behind. You can always wait for someone else to engage and then look for wall angles to get on them. It's very important to come from walls. A very predictable Rek'Sai is going to just E from here and just go for a very basic combo. That's very predictable. You always try to come from like wall angles, and using Q flash late game is very, very important. Pretty much if I have flash up and I get a Q flash combo in the late game, I'm 100% killing whoever I Q flash on. So if it's Ahri, if it's Aphelios, if it's an AD carry, those are the prime targets I'm looking for. And it's very important to pay attention to, you know, Zhonya's and kind of stopwatches when you're kind of playing for those late game team fights. And it's just about dragon stacking. When I'm playing Rek'Sai, I need to convert that early game advantage. I don't want to throw away my bounties. I play to kind of stack dragons and really accelerate the game. So I really don't want to give up too much of that gold. And that's generally how you're going to play the late game. You always want to play for vision too. Always buy lots of pinks when you're going to this point of the game. I always generally have a pink on me because the pinks just give me a lot of control. And I always just want to know where, if there's any wards on me, if it's going to interrupt my positioning, if it's going to make it hard for me to get flanks off, I really need to know that. And don't be predictable when you play Rek'Sai. If I'm just eating onto people, like this, it's very predictable. I can easily just get interrupted or something. But if I'm coming from angles where people don't see me, I'm telling you right now, this is how you're going to win a lot of team fights as Rek'Sai as the late game. And just pick that prime target, the AD carry, the AP mage, even the support, just somebody you can easily get on from behind is how you're going to play those team fights. And for core builds, we're gonna have either a GA at this point or Def Stance. If there's a lot of magic damage, we do want that. We do want that MR, so we end up getting a Maul later in the game too, and sometimes a GA. This is generally the core build that's you're going to have as a Rek'sai. It feels really great late game. I'm just gonna show you guys quickly. A late game Rek'sai, this is how much damage you can possibly do in a combo. You can deal up to 4,500 damage to one target, so you can kind of see how strong Rek'Sai is late game. So don't feel like she falls off. She does not fall off late game. If you continue to combo well as Rek'Sai, you're going to destroy pretty much everyone in the game. So that's generally the video. I'm about to get kicked out of this custom game because I was chilling in it for a bit too long. But I really hope you guys like that video. I'm going to cover some last bits of information. One thing I didn't really brush on was tower plates. Tower plates are really important. Always play early game to play for tower plates. Just getting half the plates is really important. And playing for not throwing your bounties away. Use your ulti to dodge CC. Use your ulti to drop tower aggro is very important for dives. Practice your Rek'Sai combos. Very, very fundamental. And it's very important for you guys to actually be able to do this well. And I promise you, if you really pay attention to what I covered in this video, you're going to play her a million times better. And I really hope you guys like that video. Be sure to, comment. Let me know what you guys think. And also, if you haven't subscribed already, it definitely helps. Like the video as well. And that's going to be it for this one. If you really like this type of video, I'm definitely going to make more of them in the future. I'm just kind of getting used to this kind of style. But yeah, be sure to let me know what you guys think. And I hope you guys have a great time playing Rek'Sai. I'll leave some runes and my op.gg in the comments below. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. So take care and have a great time playing the new champion Rek'Sai.